What is going on YouTube? This is Lamont at Large coming to you from Lincoln Memorial Park here in Compton, California. And today we're here to visit the grave of one Raymond Lee Washington. And if you've never heard of him, he is known as being the first Crip ever. Of course, if you know what the Crips are, they are a Los Angeles-based street gang that have spread throughout the country and maybe somebody would even say the world. Well over 12,000 members in Los Angeles are known, and might even be about 50,000 nationwide, one of the larger street gangs in America. However, when you look at them as an organization or a gang, they have been fractured and they have broken off into different sets, if you will. So even though as the name, the Crips, is universal in one, basically when you refer to the Crips, you're talking about at least 1,000 different gangs within the Crips organization. And back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, if you grew up in Los Angeles, then you remember the war between the Bloods and the Crips. For every one Blood back then, there was like 10 or 20 Crips, because it was quote unquote cool to be a Crip. And of course you had rappers that were claiming the Crips, and so kids were looking up to them and wanting to be a Crip. However, that has kind of changed. Now it's almost cool to be a Blood. So nationwide, the Bloods' influence has rivaled the Crips and even exceeded it. You talk about gang wars between Crip sets. One set war that I remember was between the 8-Tray Gangster Crips in the Rolling 60s, and that was a war. I'm gonna guess at least 2-3 dozen people have gotten murdered. I mean, that was that's probably the most bitter rivalry between Crip gangs in the Los Angeles area. And Raymond Lee Washington, along with Tookie Williams, better known as Tookie, they started the Crips, and the rest is history. Good or bad, at the end of the day, we all have a story to tell. Raymond Washington did some time in prison, about 5 years. So even though he had a lot of pull and say within the gang, when you go away for 5 years, that kind of disappears, you know. And when he got out of prison, just things weren't the same. He lost a lot of his cachet on the streets. And on August 9th, 1979, about a week before his 26th birthday, he was hanging out with his friends, and a car pulled up right off of the corner of South San Pedro and 64th, I believe, and they called him over. And according to the eyewitnesses, he went over to the car and they were talking, and all of a sudden somebody pulled out a sawed-off shotgun and shot him in the abdomen. He was rushed to Morningside Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries during emergency surgery. And as you can see right here, there's a couple of blue candles and some flowers. This is the grave of Raymond Lee Washington. And I believe his grave got, let's get a bitter. I believe his grave got refurbished not too long ago. The lady in the office told me that somebody came in, got him a new stone. So that is not the original. Gone but not forgotten. Good or bad, at the end of the day, like I said, everybody has a story. And I mean, who would have known? I'm sure he would have never known back then, him just being a young dude, just, you know, in a gang, just something to do, that it would have totally turned into this almost commercialized thing, which kind of was. And, you know, how influential his gang would be in terms of culture and music and sometimes even sports. So anyways, that is it, guys. Rest in peace to Raymond Lee Washington. All right, guys. I'll catch up with you on the next vlog. I'm out of here. Have a good day. Peace out.